Hi, everybody. Mrs. Angela was just saying some inappropriate things, and we hadn't even got started yet. I am Sabrina. Woo woo. My name is Sabrina. This is Mrs. Angela, and we are about this aging thing. I was about to say another business. That's not it.
Oh, we starting another business?
No, I can't. About this. Well, I am thinking about one thing, but we'll talk about that later. I'm just going to do the paperwork, though. I'm not going to do the physical work. But welcome to About This Aging Thing. I'm your host, Sabrina. Hi, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. I have something on my heart that I want to talk about. And I want to ask you guys about. And it is, how are you coping? Did I say I want to talk about this?
I can't remember.
Because I do work with families with grief, and it's not just about the grief. This is about what's going on in the world. Now, we do a lot of laughing and joking, because that's what this show is about. It's about aging. It's about laughing through the aging and helping each other get through the aging process. But also as we are aging, of course, more things happen. The older we get, the more older our parents get. Illnesses, death. We don't really get down like real serious most of the time.
Right.
But this has really been weighing on me about how do we cope, because we can't possibly be doing the same, processing things the same way now, 50 plus, as we did in our 20s or 30s, right? I'm gonna say 40 plus because the 40-year-olds just want to be involved. I'm sorry. Every time I say it, somebody goes, I don't know why you can't start at 40. It's like because y'all babies, but okay. But seriously, I would love to hear, through comments, how you are coping with these different things. We just lost Malcolm Jamal Warner. Now I know that he's not personal to us. Like, we don't know him. Right. But I feel like I know him. Right. We grew up with him. You lose family members. We lost students. And it's not just about loss, but that's where I'm at right now in my head. But anything, divorce. Some people have a midlife crisis. They want to start all over, or they want to. They feel like they don't want to. They've been unhappy for 30 years, or
they feel stuck.
Or they were good, and when the kids would go on, they realized we have nothing in common anymore. Yes. All that stuff. I want to know. I know it's a lot to cover in 30 minutes, but I just want to know how you're coping, and I want to share some things as we chat about it.
Oh, that's.
So I hope you're gonna join me in the chat.
I will join you. Thinking about what all we do, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, we do keep this show pretty light. You work with a lot of loss. And like you said, in the profession that you're working in right now, I deal a lot with community stuff, right? With racial justice, social economics, and that type of thing. And it's a lot of things going on, right? And we do cope differently. Like, I think about just even recently, like you mentioned with Malcolm, that he was local here in Atlanta, and he did a lot of speakeasy type of things or whatever in the city. So we, even though we weren't friends, knowing him in the city and seeing him on stage or seeing him in his movies, it's still a loss nonetheless. And dealing with our own mortality, right? I think that's probably why I laugh a lot, or I find joy in the small things or in the small wins of life, that the big things like that can really weigh you down. Especially as you mentioned earlier, you tapped on about dealing with elders getting sick in those transitions. And I actually had a conversation with a friend yesterday and talking about why is it so hard for us in this community when somebody's ready to transition, that we don't really allow them that space to do that, and that was a real conversation as well. But I'm excited about us bringing this to the table today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you coping? I was at work the other day, and there was quite a few people sad about Malcolm. And one of my colleagues said, I feel crazy feeling like this about somebody I didn't know. I said, but you did know him. Like, you feel like you knew him. You grew up with him. You watched him every day. The show that they were on, changed history, made history. made people more aware of different Black folks, that we do different things, that, you know, we're not all living one way. I had a moment of thinking about the actual moment when he died. Like, I was thinking about, wow, I wonder what were his last thoughts when you know you're about to go. Like when he was in that water and he knew that was his last breath. I wonder what his thought. I was very sad that day and thought about, that's somebody's son, somebody's father, right? Somebody's partner. Yeah, I was really sad. I also, I'm gonna switch gears real quick. I also think about coping with what's going on in the world. We never talk about it, but we're very aware of it. We talk about it off camera a lot. And you know, my daughter's having a baby, and I think about that baby's coming into the world. And some people say, why would you have a baby with the climate the way it is? But then I think that baby could change the world. Obama's mama didn't plan him. My daughter planned this, but I'm saying, like, she didn't know what he was going to be, and he, you know, was something that changed our lives.
Absolutely.
But how are you? I think about what I'm going to say to my grandbaby, how I'm going to be with my grandbaby. I think about how am I going to stay happy and with all the worry. I can't even get my words together. With all the worrying, I try not to worry. Like you said, like we try to stay in joy. We do laugh a lot, but I try not to worry. But the reality is, like, it's something every day.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think back, we've always had some type of struggle. Being human, we have struggles, right? We hope to advance and not have the same struggles as we did yesterday. But things come full cycle every so often, right? And like you said, it just takes one person to make a change. And regardless how big or small, we all have a purpose here. And I truly have to believe that purpose. And in talking to even my kids or younger adults, is that you have to believe in your purpose and not to give up the fight. And it's it's really hard not to give up the fight, right? But I think if you live in your authentic space and you really start to learn how to own your agency in life, that you have the ability to make a change. You can make this change or that change, and your choices will dictate what you do for the most part. There are outside forces that will try to hinder that, right? But when we become unified in many different ways, we think about women's movement, we think about, you know, some of the movements in the past, we think about Malcolm X, you think about some of the big names that we all know, and even the smaller names that we don't know, your community leaders that everybody doesn't know, they decide to stand up and have a voice. And remembering that you have a voice. If you can't speak and you have to write it down or whatever it is, remembering that you have the agency to change gives me hope. And I think as long as we have hope, we can continue to fight and encourage our young adults and even our peers, right, to keep pushing and not to allow it to get you in a depression, to say it so to speak.
I apologize. I was feeling so heavy with this subject. Forgot to say what we were drinking, as we always do. Forgot to cheer to another day. All right, you know what she's drinking. What's your summertime?
My hot mama summertime.
And you know where I'm at.
It changes every time.
I'm still hydrating.
I'm hydrating too. I'm lifting my spirits with spirits.
I think alcohol does the opposite, but okay.
Well, we can't really do the other things on the show, so.
What other things, girl? Don't tell all your business.
Okay, well, you know, I talk about everything.
She does talk about everything. I was telling my daughter this, that all these aches and pains that we're having politically, economically, just all that's going on in the world, how desensitized a lot of people have become, how I saw these two girls on social media fighting, and these two brothers broke it up, and they got praise, and more praise. And I remember back in the day, that would have been the norm, not the exception to where people feel like they just had to praise them so much because they did something exceptional. It would be the norm to break up a fight. But they were right to praise them because it has become not the norm. It's become, sometimes there's a man recording the fight instead of breaking up the fight.
Right.
But I was telling my daughter that as much as we have going on now, there's always been something going on. So when I was her age and younger, and I used to listen to my mom, her sisters, my aunts talking like we do, and she hears us talking, it's been kind of the same conversation, just a different time. It's different, and it seems worse, I feel. It's always been going on. But because of social media and because of technology, we're exposed to everything. So you're inundated every day, all day. And there's so many platforms. Anybody can be on TV. Anybody. Like our show, watch it on the screen.
Right.
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 So everybody's talking. Everybody has their opinions.
And it's
so
24/7.
That's right. And so you're hearing so much more than you did when my mom was my age, because they didn't have any of this. We didn't have it 28, 30 years ago.
We didn't have 24/7.
Right.
We had local news and you know, your national networks or whatever, but the television networks went down.
Right. And the little white screen.
Yes.
Telling my age. Telling my age. Telling my age. But yeah, so I was telling her, I was like, she's like, what do you think? I was like, I think it's always something. The world has always been coming to an end. As long as I can remember, somebody is saying, you know what this is, you know what that is. This is going to come to an end. It's always been coming to an end. Politics have always been politicking.
Absolutely.
Black folks have always been treated badly. As far as the police go and policies go, but we just are so much more exposed to it.
Absolutely. And that makes a huge difference, the exposure. So I do think one thing we have to do in coping is minimize your exposure, right? I think sometimes we get so caught up, we don't realize how long we've been caught up in something until you disengage. You know, even with the politics and news or whatever, weather or whatever, I may catch the news once a week or something like that, unless there's something really crazy going on. And like the flooding, I was just kind of keeping up with that. And we have guests on set, in case you didn't know.
Sorry, y'all cut it out. Cut it out.
I don't
Sorry,
think
y'all.
they really listen. They don't really listen.
I know most of our listeners have dogs. I know y'all get it. So sorry about that.
But I think being able to disengage so you can recharge yourself and your mind and your spirit makes a difference as well. Because if you listen to things, all the negativity all the time, and it's not always negative. They do try to do positive things, right? But it's more negative than positive because that's what sells. Negativity sells.
That's true.
You have to disengage so you can protect your peace and your space. And then when you come back, you're like, oh, okay, this is the same thing we talked about a month ago, right? You see, if you're aware of human behavior, you see patterns in people and situations, and you just kind of just disengage a little bit.
That's good. And I'm glad you said that, because that'll segue right into, so now that we put it on the table, like these are things that could bring us down, and how are you coping? How are we coping? Do we have any coping things that we can share? For me, the beach is always just water. You know, I could be in the shower and have a spiritual moment, because water is just water. For me, it's very healing. But the beach is the thing. Even if I just look at pictures of the beach, I meditate every day before I get out to bed. That's how I cope. People always, you know, not always, but people ask me, how come you seem like this all the time? And that's why I meditate, I pray, I believe in prayer, and I need the water.
Absolutely. And you know, it's the science behind the water as well, right? But meditation and prayer, making sure I do that at night before I go to sleep as well. And you have somebody that you can vent to sometimes, right? I do think sometimes we get so caught in the prayer and meditation, which is valid and is necessary, but I think sometimes you do need to have a safe space to just let it all out. You know, we can call and say, I need 10 minutes just to vent. I don't need really any solutions or anything like that. I just need to get this off my chest because I just got to say it, right?
Yeah.
And I think you should give yourself permission to do that sometimes. And making sure it's a safe space to do that where you don't feel like you're judged about whatever you say. Also, you know, physical activity, right, is another thing.
True.
When I know it's super, super duper hot this summer and people say, well, get up at 5 a.m. Well, I don't do 5 a.m. I can't do that, but physical activity makes a difference as well.
That's really true.
Yeah, walking outside
I do
in
feel
nature.
better after workout.
Yeah, even if it's just walking in the park for about 10 minutes or wherever you can, it does change. It does give you those endorphins that you need to help level set more so.
And if you don't have anyone that you trust to vent to, I feel like, and if you believe in prayer, I feel like you can do that in prayer if that's your last resort. I do think we need each other to talk to, but if you don't have that person that you can trust, then give it to whoever you deem a higher power. If you don't believe in a higher power, then I feel like just screaming.
Oh, yes.
Screaming, saying it out loud, even if you're alone, will make you feel better.
Yeah. And then also, we haven't mentioned this yet, but, a therapist or a coach or something, right? I mean, I know there's 1,001 coaches out here in the world for many different things, but a therapist. And oftentimes, especially since post-COVID, therapy is kind of included in insurance if you have basic insurance. You can do a televisit and just having somebody to talk to in general. And sometimes you need somebody who's not in your circle, right? But having that space is a huge thing. I know oftentimes in our age bracket or in our demographics, we don't always do therapy, but it is a huge benefit. I've done therapy throughout.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Because hormonally things change too. So the chemical balances in your body change along with everything else that's going on, right?
That's true. Yeah, and you can see that you're not alone and hear other people's ways of coping with those changes. Sometimes it's hard to, if you've been vibrant and active all your life and all of a sudden clear and just brilliant all your life, and then all of a sudden this menopause, these hormones got you all funked. You can't think.
Yeah.
You don't know what 2 + 2 is anymore. Your body's not cooperating. Your mind's telling your body you can jump that rope, and your knees like, no, you can't. Oh, I'm sorry.
I think she shared
That's
something.
about me. That was about me.
I think she shared.
But yeah, so I disagree with everything you just said. But that those hormones can, first of all, a lot of people are in denial when it first starts.
Yes.
And it's not just denial that I'm not getting older, because I have heard that. But it's not just that denial. It's also like just getting comfortable with this next phase in your life.
Yes.
Just, oh, wait, so I'm going to be, and I'm doing this. And having someone maybe check you and say, hey, if you see me doing this, please say something. Because I was just telling a friend yesterday on the phone that when I was premenopausal, I noticed that I was abrupt, rude. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, for instance, a friend was talking to my husband at church years ago. And I just interrupted them. Like really abrupt. And then it hit me after I did it. I was like, oh my God, that was so rude. Yesterday I was in a meeting in a conference room, 21 of us. And I asked a question. There was 6 people on the TV, right, on Zoom. It was, we have a TV in there. And I asked a question of one of the people that were on there. As the lady was answering the question, I got my stuff, got up.
Sabrina.
Walked around the table, passing almost everyone by, and walked out. Now, that shit was so rude. But guess what? Let me tell you what happened. The other side of that was, the meeting went way too long. Everybody knew the meeting went way too long. I was trying not to get up, so I was holding, not going to the bathroom. But I had drank a lot of water. So I was holding it, and I should have just not asked the question, because I knew that my bladder was doing this. And right when she was answering the question, my bladder was like, you gotta go now. Now, the reason I gathered my things, definitely a menopausal moment, was because in my head I was thinking, I don't know if I'm coming back. Because my office is right on the corner. So I was like, I don't know if I'm coming back. Let me get all my stuff. If I had left my stuff, everybody would have known, oh, she's just going to the bathroom. It still would have been rude because the lady was talking.
Right.
But they would at least been like, oh, she's coming back. But when I got all my stuff,
it's like, what?
Some of the girls I'm real close with, they were like, after the meeting, like, you all right? They said we were laughing at you thinking, Sabrina can't take no more. She gotta go. So as I was in the bathroom, y'all peeing, I'm squatting and I'm thinking, wow, that was some rude shit you just did. Like, what the hell? Who does that?
Capricorn.
Who does that?
A little over top for even a Capricorn.
Listen. So when I came out the bathroom, I went put myself in the office, and then I went back to the meeting because I got that kind of nerve.
Right.
I went back to the meeting and just sat in the first chair, so I wouldn't be walking around there. There was somebody else that left. They did it the proper way though, and I just sat in their chair right there and listened to the rest of the meeting. They had 3 more slides to go. I said, "Y'all got to be kidding!" But that's not the point. So I came back because I was trying to redeem myself. So after the meeting, the ED was in the hallway talking to somebody, and I said, "Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I gotta let you know, I don't know who that was in there, that this guy's been left in the middle of a meeting, and I want to apologize because I know how that was extremely rude. It was not my intent. Those are my words verbatim. Absolutely. It was not my intent." Now, what I have learned as getting older is I don't obsess about my apologies anymore. Mm-hmm. So, like, I am going to apologize. Mm-hmm. I have no problem being wrong. Mm-hmm. It's part of my growth. But once I apologize, I don't think about it anymore until I'm telling the story now. Right. But like my old self, when I was younger, I would apologize to you and then obsess about it. Wow. For days. Like, I hope she really understands. But I don't do that no more. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry. That's all I can do. So then I went to like in the room, and the person who was leading the meeting, who I really like and respect, I said, she was like, she looked at me. I said, she was talking to somebody too. I said, "I'm sorry to interrupt. I need to get these apologies out now. I'm not really sure what happened, but I know that was insanely rude." Mm-hmm. And then the person who was talking on the screen, I had to message her through Teams, right, and say, "Hey," I said same thing. I asked you a question. Oh, and this is the other thing that didn't look good, y'all. I asked the question. She said the answer. Then I challenged it with a why. Why? Why not? So then it looked like I was pissed because I said why, and then she was answering. I was like,
"You got your stuff." But perception is everything.
The great thing is we are reading the 4 agreements, so it gave me grace. I think everybody's giving anybody more grace because we're reading the 4 agreements at work.
Absolutely. I work with a lady, and yesterday she sent an email, and my response is I have a poker face, but I really don't care about using a poker face anymore in life. So I have told her about, that's like, do you know you're going through menopause, right? Because some of the things she does is kind of, in that sense, rude, right? So, I pulled her to the side once and was talking about that or whatever. So I sent an email out being proactive about something yesterday. And she responds back, "I know you're going to roll your eyes, but you know how I am." And I was like, I'm so glad she at least is aware of what she's doing, even though she's going to continue down that path. Right. But I was glad she was aware. Mm-hmm. And I think awareness is a huge piece of that. Like when you got to the restroom, you realize like, I just did the rudest stuff I've ever done, right? So being aware is number one. And sometimes it takes a minute to realize that you are being rude or you're going through those changes or what have you. So sometimes I will say, before, like, hey, keep people on a time clock or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I got like about 15 minutes. We've done this for years with food, but I got about 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. I have another meeting I gotta go to,
She means that we would let people know, like, we got 15 minutes before we get hangry.
So you ever get really hungry and then all of a sudden, you start to get quiet. I'm sure you guys don't do this, right? Mm-hmm. But we would let people know, like, I got 30 minutes. Do that. Yeah.
Especially on a road trip. Yeah. We would cuss each other out. And then it took us a while to realize, hey, we love each other. It's just the food. We need to eat. So we agreed when we get like that, we won't talk until we get to a place to eat. Because when you say what you want, I don't care what you want. Oh. Just pull up somewhere.
I don't care. It can be the gas station and some chips.
So I'm mentioning that to say, what are my coping mechanisms for that bad behavior? Coping is to quickly acknowledge it, and then move on. Also, and I was going to say, reading is great. I'm reading a great book right now. The escapism from reading really helps me.
Absolutely.
Excuse me, y'all. Get away from all that.
Yeah, and not always you're reading something that's not related to what you're doing for work or for life improvements, but just reading something that could just make your mind go in some different places.
I'm reading that book that the lady went and signed it till I read it.
Oh, okay.
Your friend. But it's pretty good. So far, so good.
That's awesome.
It's a self-awareness. Look at yourself.
Right.
My daughter was like, Mom, how many books can you read about? What are you trying to improve? I was like, everything.
Absolutely. I'm reading a book about rest is revolutionary, right?
Oh.
Because I do know that I tend to go for whatever reasons, if it's necessary. I know, right? Let me take a sip. But a lot of us do that. We go because of whatever responsibilities we have.
Yep.
And a lot of times we feel bad because we do have to rest, right? So just reminding, the value in rest. I do pretty good, but I know I can always improve on that. And I know rest is the key to a lot of other things, like for the mental balance and the health-wise and stress-wise. It's just a huge thing. So rest.
Rest is important. Even if you don't sleep, just putting your body horizontal.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And you know who does it well? Young people.
Yes.
They'll take a nap. Learn from them. Because some people think if you say, I'm not a napper. I've never been a napper. Right? But I lately be like, ooh, I can't wait to get in that bed. So I might not nap, but I might get in bed at 8 o'clock. I'm just saying. I might not be asleep, but I might be in that bed. Yeah. Or I came home the other day and my brain was so overloaded because you have to use your brain so much at work that I just had to lay across the bed and try to decompress for a minute. But some people equate napping with aging and they don't want to admit that they need a nap, or they don't take a nap because they think they're getting older. I've seen that happen. I've seen that before with people. That's not the case. No. 20-year-olds nap all day.
True.
I think they got it.
They eat and nap. I take a shower sometimes when I get home. Like I can't really lay down, but if I get in the water, like you mentioned earlier, if my decompression time is to take a shower, change clothes, and get in that house mode, so I could be in a different space. And that's always been the case, but that helps a lot as well for me. And at nighttime, when the other part about aging, a lot of times you can't sleep at night, especially females with the hormone things. So I have worked on not trying to, when I can't sleep, getting up and doing something. I just kind of lay there, right? I'll listen to some music and really just kind of breathe and try to clear my mind, which is hard to do, honestly, for me sometimes, because you think about all the things you got to get done. And if you lay in there, I should be productive, right? But actually just laying there and listen to some music and just breathe deep. Don't try to fill the time just because you can't go to sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. So those are our coping mechanisms. We have a few we've shared. We would love for you all to put in the comments where yours are. Maybe someone else, you might help someone else. Think about someone else when you're doing this. And while you're sharing your coping mechanisms, we would love for you to share the show with one person and subscribe to our channel about this aging thing. And if you could follow us on Facebook and Instagram, we'd appreciate it. Our Instagram page is not as active as it needs to be because I've been resisting it because I don't like the new format. I think I mentioned this in the other show. And I said I was going to do better and I haven't, but I'm going to. It's on my things to do list.
Yeah. So get back into Instagram. The things I resist are the things I have to push myself to go ahead and just jump in and do.
Yeah, and get it done. I used to tell my daughter that when she was in school, get the worst things that you don't like done first. And I've been a major hypocrite.
And I do have a question for you guys. How are you coping with growing kids, adults in their life? Like you just said, your daughter's having a child, and what you're going through as a soon to be
a new
nana, right?
I'm a new nana.
And separating that gap, like you're not responsible, but being there for them at the same time. Like how are you coping with becoming grandparents? Honestly,
yeah. For me, I don't focus on my baby. I tell my daughter she's out.
That's most people, though.
Yeah. She's like, Mom, why are you talking to me like that? That's like, she called me today. I was like, you good? The baby good? Yeah. Okay. Well, what you calling me for? I'm busy. I'm gonna be that nana.
She will.
Yes. Let my little chocolate drop get here, and my daughter is out. She's scared. She's like, what's Christmas gonna look like? You
elevated your voice on that one.
Sorry. Yeah. She asked me what Christmas is gonna look like this year. I said, not for you. For my baby. All right. Thank you guys for your time and attention. I know it's a little heavier than we normally do. We got a few laughs in though.
We
But, you know,
did. We did.
Me and Mrs. Angela, we're gonna laugh.
Always get a
we always
chuckle.
gonna get a laugh. We laugh in the worst times. So. People probably talk about us all the time. They're always laughing.
They do.
But we love you guys, and I thank you so much. Please share how you cope with all the craziness that's going on in the world. Please reach out, like Mrs. Angela suggested. Vent. Do what you need to do for you. The last thing I was going to say is I did talk to a parent today, and I asked her specifically, what do you do for you? And she went straight to her kids, and I let her talk for 2 minutes about her kids, what she does with her kids. And I said, that's all great. But my question was, what do you do for you? And some of us don't do anything for ourselves. And that way we